Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Martine, and if you are new here, I do videos on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights, and I focus on both relationship and natal astrology. And if you like this video and you would like to see more content from me, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you. So, once again, thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far, and please continue to watch the ads if you want to support my channel for free. And before I get into the introduction for today's video, can I just say the next sign that I will be covering in the next video in this series will be Leo, because like I mentioned, I extracted a different sign every time that I made a video on this topic of transits for 2022. Okay, so getting into the introduction of the video, once again, I remind you that you can use this video for your moon sign as well as your ascendant sign, especially if the moon sign in your natal chart is at a lower degree in any sign than your ascendant. You can expect the moon chart transits to actually give you better results. Okay, so that's something to take into account. So to get into the structure of the transits for 2022, I have divided the year into 3 parts, chart 1, chart 2, chart 3, based on the sign placements of Jupiter and Saturn. And I also will be looking at Rahu, which is the north node, Ketu, which is the south node, and a little bit of Pluto. Okay, so this is the way that I have divided it. Some disclaimers about this is that you have to take into account that the actual time when a planet switches from one sign to another depends on your geographical location. So bear in mind that the dates that I have given may vary by a few days depending on your geographical location. If you're interested in, seeing the actual transits and everything, you can easily find some information about it by just Googling it, but of course you can also use astro.com. Astro.com actually on their main page has, I think they're called ephemerides or something like that. They have a list of transits for like the past 1,000 years or 2,000 years, or I don't even know exactly how many thousands of years. Basically lists, but of course those lists of planets through signs do not take into account the geographical coordinates. And of course, they're in tropical placements. So you would have to do the conversion from tropical to sidereal in your head. Aside from that, I do recommend that you use astro.com to see your personal chart. If you're interested in how to use astro.com, check out my video description. I will leave a link there to a short instruction-based video that I have done a while ago that will teach you how to use the chart for the site for free for several charts. Okay, so this being said, another disclaimer is that Rahu will be going into Aries on around April 3rd, 2022. But to simplify the charts, I have kept it in Taurus for the entire duration of the chart 1 phase, when you actually look at the screen and you see the chart 1, but I will be mentioning it in the interpretations, okay? So don't worry about it. And another thing final disclaimer actually is bear in mind that these are generalized predictions, okay? And in order to get a more personalized result, you would be advised to get a personal consultation, or at the very least take into account the fact that there are many factors that you would have to look at to get a personalized transit report. So everything that I will say here is to be taken with a grain of salt, because the aspects could be overpowered by something else that is happening in your chart, okay? Okay, finally, last but not least, the color scheme of the charts. As you know, in Vedic astrology, each certain planets have special aspects, and I have colored these aspects with different colors on the screen. You will see them in the chart 1, chart 2, chart 3 diagrams. And namely, you will see the aspects of Saturn with gray, the aspects of Rahu with pink, the aspects of Jupiter with yellow and the aspects, yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't colored the aspects of Ketu because Ketu's aspects are directly opposite Rahu's aspects, okay? So this is what I wanted to say, so to get straight into the interpretation, okay? So, chart 1 phase for Pisces 2022. This is from around January 1st to April 22nd, 2022, when Jupiter is in Aquarius, Saturn is in Capricorn. So the 11th house becomes the house where you will direct most of your efforts. There will be some transformation happening involving the 11th house matters. So like issues like financial gains, relationships with friends, and also with elder siblings. You can also, during the entire time when Saturn is in Capricorn, actually this has been going on already since 2021, you could actually feel a little bit more isolated than usual. Maybe you feel like you cannot rely on your friends and your elder siblings, and this is all pretty much Saturn's way of making you rely on your own efforts, basically. That is one interpretation. The financial gains from your career will be slow and steady during this time, and they will be directly proportional to how much effort you put in, and how organized you are, and how perseverant you are. There could be some friends and elder siblings coming in from foreign lands or places of isolation. Places of isolation could even mean hospitals, could mean prisons, etc. You could get gains from the 12th house related activities like meditation, spending time in isolation, creative pursuits. Jupiter in the 12th shows that losses and expenses during this time could increase. Actually, sorry, they will be diminished, not increased, right? Jupiter. Your creativity will be high during this time. You could gain great insights from your subconscious mind, so it would especially benefit you to take up regular contemplation or meditation practices. Your father or your boss could somehow go into places of isolation. Again, this could mean hospital or funny, because I don't know if you heard that. That was an ambulance. So anyway, and okay, places of isolation. So hospital again could mean prison, or at the very least it could mean just spiritual places, or like they will become more spiritually oriented, or it could mean that they will take up some foreign travel. There are good chances for you to travel to foreign lands during this time. Actually, according to what I've seen in your chart, throughout the entire 2022, you have pretty good chances of traveling. Of course, this doesn't account for government policies that may still, go down drastically on everyone. But technically, looking at your chart, you have really good chances of traveling, even traveling abroad. Saturn's aspect on the first house makes you serious and mature, and you will be especially focused on establishing a sense of self and working on self-confidence and your abilities and your self-reliance. Rahu in the third house will make you especially confident in your abilities, but you have to be careful that you don't become foolhardy and too optimistic when it comes to taking risks. This placement increases chances of traveling for both short and long-term or long-distance travels. Relationships with younger siblings and neighbors could turn a bit unpredictable and challenging during this time. You might notice foreigners moving into your neighborhood during this time. If you take risky actions based on too much optimism without enough planning, you might experience losses. Jupiter's aspect on the 4th and 6th houses shows that you will feel content at home, with your physical home, and at your workplace, or at your job, actually, or with respect to everyday routines. Pets will bring you joy as well. You will tend to shy away from competitions during this time, so be careful if you have to take exams, for example. So be careful not to not to become too relaxed and, trying to stay focused. Rahu's aspect on the 7th house shows there could be discontent with respect to long-term partners, romantic or otherwise. If other placements in your chart support this theme, you might start a long-term relationship with a foreigner. Jupiter and Saturn aspecting the 8th house shows joint finances with your spouse if you're married will be good during this time. Or if you are working in any kind of financial sector, so working with managing other people's resources and money, you will be successful at that during this time. Relationships with in-laws will be good as well. Ketu in the 9th house shows disinterest towards higher learning, foreign travel. Could show the father figure will be seen as cold and absent. Worst case scenario, there could be illness or death of a father figure or of a mentor / professor. Your intuition will be very strong during this time, so learn to trust it. Okay, so that's pretty much what I could say with respect to chart 1. Moving on to chart 2, April 22nd to July 21st, roughly 2022. When Jupiter will be in Pisces, Saturn will be in Aquarius. So Jupiter moves into your 1st house, giving you much more of a positive outlook on life and a lot more energy and faith in yourself and the world. You will direct your energy towards passion projects a lot more during this time. There will be a strong desire for you to direct your professional life and your efforts towards something you really love doing. You might feel an urge to take on a creative career path, working with children and or teaching. Maybe even speculative business, actually. You would find success in these areas, since Jupiter will make you seem more trustworthy and even wiser than usual. Rahu in the 2nd house, aspecting the earth signs, shows a strong desire to accumulate wealth and material things. So you could have a strong desire even to eat exotic foods during this time, or even take on a side hustle involving exotic foods. So like a food vlog, even opening some kind of a cooking business, restaurant, etc. Be careful to not let your spending habits get out of hand, since you will be particularly prone to racking up debt when Rahu goes into Aries. So the entire time when Rahu is going through Aries, you might have to watch your health more during this time, or rather, especially your everyday habits, to avoid developing health issues. There could be hardships involving the work environment if you are employed, and your pets. Hardships meaning especially unpredictable situations, a lot of ups and downs. Jupiter's aspect on the 7th shows a good time to meet a new long-term romantic partner if you're single, especially if you are going through Jupiter Mahadasha. If you are in a long-term partnership, it will run smoothly throughout the rest of the year. Ketu in the 8th house, intuition, keeps your intuition sharp. You will be favored, especially if you use your higher learning and mentors' teachings or your father's teachings in matters to do with research, joint finances, natural resources, or anything to do with the occult. This includes things like tarot and astrology and psychology. Okay. I have to check the notes. And okay, Jupiter and Saturn's aspect on the 9th house shows gains through foreign travels, foreign cultures, both professionally and financially. Good opportunities for travel and higher education. Relations with the father figures, and mentors will be better than in the past year or so. Rahu's aspect on the 10th enforces chances of 2nd house careers and even 12th house careers and activities. So you can gain success and popularity by something, like I mentioned, starting a food blog, for instance, a vlog, podcast, singing, even anything that actually has to do with using your voice any artistic or creative activity, or things to do with spiritual practices and meditation, practices like meditation. Also, especially music when it comes to creative activity, but any kind of creative activity actually. Okay, so this is pretty much what is new for the chart 2 phase. Moving on to chart 3. This is from around July 21st to around December 31st, 2022, when Jupiter will be in Pisces, Saturn will be in Capricorn. So this is like a combination between the chart 1 and chart 2 phases. Jupiter will stay in the first, will be aspected by Saturn. So whatever you have started in the previous phases will be solidified during this time and will be steady, especially with respect to your professional arena, in your social status area, whatever. Field of life, okay. For Rahu in the second, interpretation will be exactly the same as in basically chart 2. So Rahu, that interpretation that I gave for the chart 2 with respect to Rahu will stay valid for the entire time when Rahu's in Aries. Saturn in the 11th house will be aspecting your 5th, will restrict your social contacts again, just as it was in the chart 1 phase. So you might again feel lonely at times and feel like you're lacking support, but this is again because Saturn is really emphasizing the need for self-reliance. You might get slight pieces of help every now and then from your social circle, friends, elder siblings, but do not count on it as a regular thing. Instead, focus on what you can do on your own to better your own life and circumstances. This is a good time for long-term financial investments and taking on new studies or new study programs, courses, etc. There could be unexpected situations involving your job, your workplace, and your pets. Often your daily routine will be interrupted. Again, this is true for the entire time when Rahu will be going through Aries. So often you might find that your daily routine will be interrupted, but you should definitely strive to maintain healthy habits during this time, because especially for you, failure to do so will increase chances of addictions. So developing addictions and escapism in general. So it's really important for you to, have a solid everyday routine and plan things and stick to it as much as possible. Relationships with in-laws and joint finances could take a hit, so be careful not to make any risky decisions during this time, especially when it comes to finances. Also, your spouse's family of origin could be going through some kind of a difficulty. It could be pretty much anything. I would have to see more specific placements. But yes, again, this is the entire time for Rahu in Aries, so you can expect this to happen. Okay, so this is pretty much, and everything else just stays as I have mentioned in chart 1, chart 2 phases, okay, for specific planetary aspects, unless I have mentioned them. Okay. And so this is pretty much it, and I hope you have enjoyed it. And once again, if you have, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out my video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you.